My name is Tamara, and I am the founder of drawfence.com. But I've also been a commercial fence estimator since about 2001, so nearly 25 years. And aside from doing a lot of CAD drawings of fences over the years, and of course estimating and stuff like that, I've also been doing Gantt charts and schedules for fences for pretty much my entire career. Um, I obviously started out in a different country where things were a little bit more complex early on. And I think some of the requirements that fence companies are seeing now, commercial clients and industrial clients and stuff like that, include some stuff that you might not have the in-house capabilities or software to do yourself. So, aside from Draw a Fence that makes fence and gate drawings as easy as ordering something online and you don't need any CAD experience or software for it, I also wanted to show you some other stuff you can do to meet some of those s- unique requirements that your customers might have. And today we're going to be talking about Gantt charts. So, way back in the day, I started doing Gantt charts and schedules on Microsoft Project. But things have got a lot more complicated and you got to subscribe and stuff like that. And if you don't have the budget for that, there is a tool called Gantt Project. You can find it at ganttproject.biz. And this is an open source tool to generate Gantt chart schedules and things like that. And I wanted to just show you some of the really quick and dirty tips I've got to set up your project schedules this way. Um, you've always got options when you do this kind of thing, and you can split it up any way you want to. But I try to make it a little bit more detailed, and I try to split it up the same way that I would progress bill, because one of the features that you've got on these Gantt chart tools is that you can calculate completion percentages from the Gantt chart. So very often your client will require you to submit a new Gantt chart with your progress billing. So if your Gantt chart and your progress billing agree on the completion percentages, there's less chance that they're going to argue about what is done and what's not done. So I'm just going to show you real quick. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create tasks and milestones. And in this case, there's a shortcut on the keyboard that I can use, Control T, and that will create tasks for me eventually. Not entirely sure why we're not. Ah, there we go. A little bit slow today. Okay, so I'm gonna just create a bunch of tasks here. Right. And when you're doing this, you're going to want to think about hierarchies and stuff like that. So let's say we've got, okay, I can right click and go to the task properties here, or I can double click to go to the task properties. Mm, Okay, so we're going to split this. You can set a begin date and all kinds of things over here, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of these and I'm going to indent them, which means that they become a subordinate task to this main heading over here, which is now the project name. So now I want to say pre-construction. Eventually, again, it's a little slow today, so pre-construction. And then I'm gonna have done, yeah, let's call this chain link fence. And then we'll call this guy at the bottom, yeah. Call you project closeout. Okay. And then I'm going to add a couple more tasks over here just so I have some stuff to put under there. Okay, now these tasks over here, not all of them. I want to indent these on pre-construction, so I'm going to indent those and turn production into a heading. Same for chain events, and then project closeout. Okay, now I'm going to call this, let's say, procurement and manufacturing. And then we'll call this one site mobilization. And this, of course, would depend on what your project is about and what is required and all of those good things. So let's say site clearing. There might be something on the site that needs to be done. Chain link fence. And this you can split up again. What I sometimes do on really big projects is I will name fence lines, so A to B, B to C, C to D, whatever, and I will have those as separate tasks so that we can monitor the progress on those things independently. So let's say gates over here. And then we got closeout would be site cleaning. And then we got demobilization. Demobilization. And then the last one would be closeout documentation, because these days clients are going to be asking for closeout documentation, include things like all your health and safety records, shop drawings, which you can use defense.com to do, warranties, operation and maintenance manuals, all those kinds of things. So now that we've got all this figured out, we want to start assigning times and sort of order to this. So let's say this is going to take 2 weeks and that's it. Now we got site mobilization, which is going to take us 3 days, but we can only do that after pre-construction, after the procurement and manufacturing is done, and we're going to delay it by 5 days after that. So now you're going to see there's a relationship now between the procurement. So if this changes, if we change this value, it's going to automatically move everything that's related to it. So now we've got site mobilization. So site clearing is going to take 5 days, and it's going to follow on mobilization. Then we've got chain link fence. Let's say this is going to be 21 days, and it's going to follow on site clearing. So you can see where this is going. Then we're just creating all these relationships between things, and so that when we change one thing, everything else will change as well. Let's say the gates are going to be 3 days, and it's going to follow chain link fence. But instead of doing finish to start, we're going to do finish to finish, which means that both of those tasks will finish on the same day. So I'm just going to adjust the zoom over here a little bit so you can see what that's going to look like. So as you can see, these two tasks now are linked, but they're going to end on the same day. So if this becomes longer, your gates would move further down that way. Now we've got site cleaning, and let's say we've got 2 days for that, and that is going to follow on chain link fence, and it's going to follow on gates. And then we've got demobilization, let's say 2 days for that, and that's going to follow on site cleaning. And then close out documentation. This usually takes a while, so I'm going to say 10 days for that. And that's going to follow on demobilization. Actually, here we can go. No, you know what? I'm going to leave it that way. You could actually start with closeout documentation before you leave the site. You probably already have a lot of the stuff done. Some of it you might not be able to. Site cleaning. You are following the incorrect thing. Oh no, demobilization, you're following the incorrect thing. You need to be following site cleaning, not site clearing, as you can see. Now, as you can see, I've just made a change and it's automatically adjusted those things. So unlike doing this the hard way in a spreadsheet or something like that, these programs are designed so that you can make those changes quite quickly. So another thing I want to do is I'm going to go to the project property, eventually. It's taking a little time there. So I'm going to call this Walmart chain link fence. And we're going to change the calendar so Saturdays are working days as well. So that's going to automatically adjust everything as well. That's another thing you can do with these things. And it's a good way to have a graphical representation of what your plan is for any project. Um, Even if your customer doesn't ask you for this, it's a good way to lay things out and to plan things and to figure out, because you already know what the timing of everything is going to be. So if you see that it's going to take much longer than it should, then you know, okay, maybe you need to put an additional crew on the site so you can cut the time down by half and those kinds of things. There's a lot of other stuff you can do here. So uh, you can add tables and things over here. So your columns, you can have your completion, which is a percentage. You can add a column for the duration. You can add all kinds of things over here. So we apply those, and then this is going to be, so now you can see, according to this particular layout, it's going to take 72 days from start to finish, and then it'll give you all of those individual amounts there. And then as you tick off these items on your checklist, you can go and change your progress percentages. So if that's 50% done, now it's going to show as, yeah. So it's going to show, oh, I put that in the wrong place. But as you can see, so I've got it 50% over there. I should have actually done the 50% over here because that will automatically calculate over here. So it's now recalculated everything there. So this shouldn't have been set. And then this one, let's say we've got 60% complete, and then it's going to update that over there. So that's how that works. And then it'll obviously give you an overall completion percentage for everything as well. And again, like I said, this is very useful for calculating progress billing and stuff like that, especially if you keep a different schedule and associated with each progress bill that you do. So you would save this as progress as at whatever today's date is, and then next month you would do the next version of this and you would change all those percentages and it would give you a completion percentage over there. So all of these things do tie in together, and just like fence drawings, being able to do kinds of things to commercial clients is really going to set you apart from all the competition. So this is a really good thing to be able to do. And like I said, Gantt project is a free open source tool. It's really simple to use. There is a bit of a learning curve, but you know, if you've been planning projects for a while, it's going to be quite quick to master. So if you haven't got a tool yet to do Gantt projects and schedules, I highly recommend downloading this for free, installing it on your computer, and then just giving it a try and seeing all the different features and stuff like that. You can export your Gantt chart as a PDF, which is quite useful. So you can insert that into project documents and stuff like that. You can also save it, and I believe you can open these Gantt charts in MS Project, which is one of the more commonly used commercial tools out there. So let's just export it. So that's what you would do. No, it's going to export it to a folder, and then you will have to open it from that folder. But yeah, it's going to give you an exported file that you can insert into bid documents and that kind of thing. Anyway, since the goal with draws has always been to make it easier for companies to do the professional things that are required so much on commercial and industrial projects these days, I thought it would be useful to share another tip about something else that you can do with a lower investment and that's quite quick and easy to use. Thanks for listening.